The Borgia Pope: Power, Politics and Legacy. Imagine the Renaissance, a time of artistic innovation, new ideas and political upheaval. Among the grand tapestry of history, one family emerged to dominate not through honor or virtue, but through cunning, ambition and power. This is the story of the Borgias, and at its center, Pope Alexander VI, a man whose name became synonymous with corruption, intrigue, and the tangled web of politics in the Catholic Church. In this video, we'll step into the dramatic world of Alexander VI, also known as Rodrigo Borgia, to unravel his life, his ascent to the most powerful religious position in the world, and the impact of his family on European history. Was he a sinner beyond redemption or a skilled leader navigating a treacherous era? Let's dive into the story of the Borgia Pope. Rodrigo Borgia, the man who would become Alexander VI, was born in 1431 in Xàtiva, Spain, to a family already tainted with ambition and opportunity. His uncle, Pope Calixtus III, was an instrumental figure in Rodrigo's rise. With family influence and an education in law and theology, Rodrigo quickly entered the church's inner sanctum. By the time he was in his 20s, Rodrigo was already a cardinal. However, his focus wasn't solely on spiritual matters. Ambition burned brightly within him. He amassed wealth, gained allies, and maneuvered through the complex politics of the Vatican. Rodrigo's election as Pope in 1492 wasn't just a matter of divine will. It was the result of a well-orchestrated campaign filled with bribery, alliances, and compromise. The papal election was marred with accusations of corruption, but Rodrigo emerged victorious, taking the name Alexander VI. His ascension came at a time when the Renaissance was flourishing, but Italy itself was fractured, with city-states like Florence, Milan, and Venice vying for influence. This environment allowed Alexander VI to leverage his position as the spiritual leader to become one of the most influential secular figures in Europe. The Renaissance was not just about art and culture, it was also a time of shifting political landscapes. Italy was a patchwork of independent city-states and kingdoms, each fighting for supremacy. This chaotic backdrop provided fertile ground for Alexander VI to weave alliances, neutralize enemies, and strengthen his family's influence through diplomacy and war. By using his position as Pope, Alexander VI forged alliances with powerful figures like France's King Charles VIII and Naples' ruling Aragonese dynasty. His ability to play one faction against another turned the church into a political powerhouse. A key aspect of Alexander's strategy was his use of family connections. The Borgias became an intricate power structure, with family members holding critical roles in politics, the military, and even the church itself. His son Cesare Borgia was the family's military and political architect, while his daughter Lucrezia Borgia played a crucial role in forging alliances through strategic marriages. Every move the Borgias made was designed to tighten their grip on power across Italy and beyond. Of course, such ambition did not come without scandal. Alexander VI's papacy was rife with accusations of simony, the selling of church offices, nepotism, and outright corruption. Critics accused him of using the papal treasury to finance his family's exploits, of arranging assassinations to eliminate rivals, and of indulging in worldly pleasures unbecoming of a pope. These actions cemented his reputation as one of the most corrupt popes in history. While some contemporaries admired his pragmatism, others decried the way he eroded the sanctity of the papal office. Among Alexander VI's children, Cesare Borgia stood out as a figure of cunning and ambition. Initially groomed for a career in the church, Cesare broke tradition by abandoning his cardinalship to pursue a military and political life. Cesare's ruthlessness and strategic mind helped consolidate the Borgias' power. He led campaigns across Italy, seizing territory and eliminating rivals to carve out a quasi-kingdom in central Italy. His military success earned him a reputation as a fearless leader, though his brutal tactics made him feared and loathed in equal measure. Lucrezia Borgia, Alexander VI's daughter, is often remembered as a pawn in her family's political schemes. Her multiple arranged marriages were used to secure alliances with powerful families, such as the Sforza family of Milan and the d'Este family of Ferrara. Yet Lucrezia's role wasn't purely passive. Letters and accounts suggest she was intelligent, charming, and capable of influencing matters at court. Over time, She gained a reputation as a patron of the arts, a devout Catholic, and a skilled administrator of her husband's estates, proving herself to be far more than just a tool of her father's ambitions. The Borgias were not alone in their quest for power. Through alliances with families like the Orsini, Colonna, and Medici, Alexander VI engineered a delicate balance of power. However, these relationships were often fraught with betrayal and shifting loyalties, typical of Renaissance-era politics. Rivalries with families such as the Della Rovere, who sought to destabilize the Borgia grip on the papacy, added another layer of intrigue to Alexander's reign. The turbulence of the Italian Wars, 1494–1559, coincided with Alexander VI's papacy. These conflicts, involving France, Spain, and various Italian states, saw the Pope playing a pivotal role as both a negotiator and a military strategist. Alexander VI's involvement in these wars secured his family's dominance in Italy, though it also exposed the Church to criticism for becoming entangled in worldly conflicts. Unlike his predecessors, Alexander VI openly used his position to advance his family's secular interests. Appointments within the Church were granted to loyal allies, and papal decrees were issued to validate the Borgia family's territorial claims. This blending of religious authority and political ambition was unprecedented, further tarnishing the public perception of the papacy. Despite the scandals, Alexander VI contributed significantly to Renaissance art and culture. He commissioned works from eminent artists to enhance the splendor of the Vatican. The Borgia apartments, painted by the famed Pinturicchio, are a testament to his vision for artistic excellence. Through his patronage, the Pope left a lasting cultural legacy that transcended the controversies of his reign. While Cesare Borgia seemed unstoppable during his rise, his fall was swift and dramatic. After Alexander VI's death, Cesare found himself without the papal support that had been essential to his success. Betrayed by former allies and targeted by rival factions, Cesare's empire crumbled, and he eventually died in exile. In contrast, Lucrezia Borgia outlived her family's downfall and reinvented herself as a respected duchess in Ferrara. She embraced her role as a patron of culture, commissioning artwork and fostering a vibrant court. Lucrezia spent her later years distancing herself from the scandals of her youth, leaving behind a mixed but fascinating legacy. As Europe expanded its reach to the Americas, Alexander VI played a significant role in dividing the New World. The Treaty of Tordesillas in 1494, which divided newly discovered lands between Spain and Portugal, was endorsed by Alexander as a way of stabilizing European colonial ambitions. While this decision had far-reaching consequences for global politics, it also highlights how his papacy was deeply entangled in secular matters. The corruption of Alexander VI's reign did not go unnoticed. His practices became a rallying cry for reformers who sought to restore morality within the Church. While he didn't live to see the Protestant Reformation, Alexander VI's papacy was often cited as an example of the excesses that reformers like Martin Luther sought to eradicate. Pope Alexander VI died in 1503 under mysterious circumstances, potentially from poisoning, a fittingly dramatic end for a man whose life was rife with intrigue. His passing marked the beginning of the Borgias' decline, as his successors worked to dismantle their influence. The story of Pope Alexander VI and the Borgia family is one of contrasts: brilliance and corruption, ambition and scandal, power and downfall. While the Borgias exploited their position to achieve unparalleled heights, they also contributed to the cultural and political fabric of the Renaissance. For history enthusiasts, the Borgias offer a reminder of how ambition can shape the world, for better or worse. Whether viewed as villains or visionaries, the Borgia legacy endures. So, what do you make of the Borgia Pope? An opportunistic corrupter, or a product of his time? History, as always, leaves the answer open to interpretation.